Hey guys, it's Troy. Welcome to London and to another video. So today I want to talk about the issue of good-looking guy game. That is to say, what to do about dating and game if you are enormously good looking. Like myself, obviously I have this very same problem all the time. Only joking. The reason I'm covering this topic is because a viewer called Davy left a comment yesterday, which you can go and read on yesterday's video or yesterday's podcast, where he basically said, listen, Troy, what advice do you have for dudes who are good looking? He said, I'm tall, I am muscular, I get a lot of compliments from girls about my looks, so I know that I'm attractive. However, I'm not getting the traction in the dating marketplace that I would like. So what do you recommend? Do you have any advice? And yes, absolutely, I do. The other thing that he says, and this is something I really want to pick up on, is that his story, his experience really gives the lie to the black pill kind of view of life, which is to say that dudes who are good looking and tall and ripped and everything else have already won the race, right? They don't have to do anything else, because all you have to do in order to be successful in the dating sphere is to be amazing looking and just sit back, and that's kind of it. They are the winners, these good looking dudes, and everyone else is the loser because women won't look at you. But if you're great looking, that's it. Just sit back, collect your winnings, and enjoy the rewards of that position. But Davy's experience, and the experience of many other guys that I have worked with, that I have known, that I've been friends with over the years, indicates that this just isn't the case, right? As you probably know, I've been watching Love Island Australia recently, along with a lot of other people in the UK, because we've all been locked down and there hasn't been a lot else to do. And they're re-showing this 2018 Love Island Australia series over here, and it's a lot of fun. And okay, here's one thing, right? So in that show, you've got a group of guys and you've got a group of girls, and they're all on this island, and the point is that they get together and they, you know, fancy each other and couples form and all the rest of it, right? Now, objectively, all of the dudes on that show are good looking, because, you know, in order to get onto Love Island Australia as a guy, you've got to be kind of good looking, right? They're not going to let some, you know, unattractive dude on there, right? So all of the guys are tanned, they are facially good looking, they're ripped, you know, most of them are tall, some of them are models, many of them have big Instagram profiles, they're maybe athletes, or they're sort of like, you know, these are top tier guys, okay, in terms of aesthetics. But not all of them get equal traction with the girls in the house. You know, some guys get lots and lots of traction and girls fight over them, and there are love triangles and things like this. And other dudes who objectively you would say that is a good looking guy come in and they get no traction at all, and then they get thrown out a few days later or a week later or whatever, because none of the girls like them, because they're not sparking anything with these girls, okay? So that in itself should tell you something, right? So even being like good looking, it's not like a precipice that you reach, and then once, if you're there, if you're fortunate enough to, you know, be good looking, then that's it, and you can just sit back and relax and everything else will take care of itself. Because even when you're on that plateau, that precipice of good lookingness, it's everything is still not equal. For a start, because there's always going to be somebody better looking than you. But secondly, because you've got to bring something else to the party other than just the fact of being good looking, because otherwise Love Island would be a very short show, because you'd just be like, yeah, all the dudes are good looking, all the girls would be there going, yeah, he's good looking, okay, fine, I'll couple up with him, and then that would be it, and it would be finished after one episode, because everyone would just couple up and that would be it. But good looks is not the great equalizer that these black pill guys think it is. As I say, you have to bring something else to the party. Now, obviously, in the case of Davy, not knowing him, not having seen pictures of him, seen him in action or anything like that, it's very hard for me to diagnose what the specific issue is. But there are a few things that it seems to me that good-looking guys and less aesthetically blessed guys alike need to be doing. Now, if you go out and actually step out of your house and attend social venues, and obviously Corona's kind of got in the way of that, but we're starting to ease off a little bit now in many places, including London, you will see what the realities of the dating marketplace are. And I'm not convinced that these black pill guys actually ever go out of their bedrooms in order to witness what really goes down. Because when I go to a bar in London or a club or whatever, or in Berlin or Ibiza or wherever it is, you know, I'll look around and observe people, and you will often see very, very good looking guys who are just kind of standing there by the bar, like holding their drink, looking around, waiting to be approached, right? And sometimes, more often than not, they don't actually end up getting approached. And the guys who do well on that particular night, the guys who get traction with the girls who are there on that particular night, are maybe less good looking guys who go in there and start conversations, who go in there and act flirtatious, who go in there and make something happen, like ignite something in the social sphere. I remember one time I was in Ibiza, I was at the beach bar Bora Bora, which is a very popular bar where they play, they have DJs, they play house music, it goes out onto the beach, everyone's dancing, drinks are flowing, it's a lot of fun. I was there one time and I was watching the goings on, and there was an Australian dude, I think, not particularly great looking, a little bit out of shape, carrying a little bit of timber on the old waist, not particularly tall, and he's standing there and he's talking to this very, very, very attractive, beautiful Brazilian girl, right? And he's talking to her for ages, you know, they're chatting, she's laughing, he's making jokes, he's flirting, she's lapping it up, right? And around him, all these other dudes were looking, because she was like the most attractive girl there at the time, and these other guys were kind of jealous. And so he gets her phone number basically, because she has to go with her friend. He's like, listen, we should meet up later. What club are you going to tonight? Give me a number, I'll give you a message, blah, 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 whatever. He gets the phone number, she goes. And then this really good looking dude comes over to this little Australian dude, and he's like, Jesus, how did you do that? What was, you know, what's your secret? And, you know, these black pill guys would just be like spazzing out. They wouldn't be able to handle it, because, you know, theoretically, the great looking guy should have been the one who had monopolized that girl's attention, but he wasn't, okay? And it was this Australian dude, not as good looking, not as tall, etc., 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 right? So how could this possibly be explained? Well, it's explained by the fact that all guys, regardless really of how good looking or not you are, need to be proactive. So, as I say, I don't know Davy, I don't know his personal story, but if you're a guy, you need to be going out there and approaching and making things happen, right? You need to be the instigator in the social sphere. That is to say, you need to be the one who's going out there, starting conversations and being flirtatious as well, right? It's not enough just to have a conversation and just talk about the weather or, you know, geopolitics or what's going to happen with Brexit or something like that. You know, you need to be flirting, you need to be spiking things up, you need to be teasing, you need to be making it a bit exciting for her, okay? So that's the first thing. The other thing is that, you know, you can't get away with being passive, and I think too many good looking guys that I've known tend to just stand back and they're just like, well, she should approach me because I'm great looking. And yes, you know, you are going to get approach invitations for sure if you're great looking, but that's not enough. You need to follow up on it, right? And you need to be pushing the interaction on to the next stage. That is to say, you need to be closing, you know, ABC, always be closing. So it's not enough just to have a nice chat and then hope that she's gonna then suggest that you guys go and have a drink or have a coffee, you know, or whatever, right? You've got to do that. You've got to be a proactive one. Again, you've got to say, listen, it's been great talking to you. I've got to go back to my friends. However, we should meet up for drinks another time. Here's my phone. Let me take your number. I'll drop you a message, okay? Or if you're on the date, you know, you need to be moving things forward to the next stage. Like, oh, I've made these great videos of when I was in Antigua on holiday. Why don't we go back to my place? We can watch them. Whatever it is, right? You need to be moving things on to that next stage. So if you're not doing that, if you're not being proactive, you're not being flirtatious, and you're not moving things on to the next stage, then you are going to be one of those good-looking guys who's just stood by the side of the bar, watching the action, but not really getting the kind of traction that he otherwise could. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Thank you very much for that question, Davy. If anyone else has got questions or topics they want me to cover, please do leave them in the description below, because I really do want to tailor this for you guys to be as helpful as I can possibly be. But this was a really interesting topic, and I'd like to do more on this, because I think there's such a lot of misconceptions around this idea about looks and blah blah blah. So thank you very much for that. Anyway, please do subscribe to this YouTube channel. It really helps me to keep putting out this free content, to keep creating this stuff for you guys, which I hope is helpful. So please do hit the subscribe button below, press the notifications bell. Also, get on my daily email list, right? I send out a free article Monday to Friday, most days. I mean, sometimes I have to miss it if I'm traveling or whatever, but generally speaking, every day I'm sending out a free piece of content to you by email. So do join up for that. The link is below, no charge or anything whatsoever. And if you do want to read more of my stuff, I've got a collection of articles and essays from the last 5 years. It's called Renegade Dating Domination. It's available now. It's in 2 volumes, 400 pages. There's just so much content in there. Hit the link for that below also. That's it from me for now. I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.